Hello everyone, Rurikhan here. How's everybody doing? Today I'm going to be bringing you some Mandalorian Raiders action with my Sage. I've been playing with my Scoundrel quite a bit, and I've only recently gone back to my Sage to kind of make a little bit of content with the Sage as well. As you guys know, I was leveling out the Sage to be a healer. I've actually made a healer guide that's currently on TGN Central. It is a really in-depth guide about SWTOR healing. I'll probably either drop a link in the description or make some kind of annotation for it if you guys want to get a better insight as to how I'm healing this instance. This is a completely random pug. I was just announcing that I wanted to get into a group to Mandalorian Raiders or Academimu, and I got invited by these guys, and shortly after they invited me again to go ahead and do Academimu. Now I'm slightly over leveled for this instance, but it's kind of okay because I still hadn't done it in this character. At least I don't think I did it. Might have done it, might not have done it, not exactly sure. But yeah, just going around swinging my lightsaber a little bit even there. It's not very usual for you as a healer to swing your lightsaber a whole lot. But yeah, we got a couple dogs coming up in here getting smacked around like the little doggies they are. And they just kind of need to be put out of their misery. But yeah, I'm going through the instance. We got Bluto the Backstabber, who is a trooper playing Trooper Commando, I believe, because they're the only ones who can use assault cannons. Playing some DPS. And here we got Kavik the Backstabber, who's actually a shadow tank, which I hadn't really seen before, shadow tanks, although it is my plan to eventually make a Sith assassin tank. So I'm going to have like 3 characters, the Scoundrel, the Sage, and an assassin tank. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with SWTOR. Once again, I just want to make sure you guys realize that I do not want to be labeled as a SWTOR director. I'm just going to be putting out lots of SWTOR content in the coming months, most likely, because it is kind of the game I'm mainly focused on for now. So as I was saying this, we kind of arrive at the very first boss here, which I believe is called Brax, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Brax the Bloodhound. So this boss is really not that hard. All we really got to do is avoid that red AoE over there, because that's annoying. And if the dogs target you, just run away for a little bit. And if you got like some kind of slowdown, whatever, I'm not sure if they're immune to slow, but then again, they move really slow, so it doesn't really matter. As you can see, I'm just moving around, still healing, not really having any major issues with it. And as a healer, if you get a chance, like if you get an opening where nobody's really taking a whole bunch of damage, feel free to do what I do and just lay down a couple of telekinetic throws, because that is probably our most damaging attack. See over there, move out of that AoE before you die. Dog also hopping up on top of me, but don't worry about it because I got Force Armor. Forced Armor is a really good tool for a clutch. If you have to heal on the move, Forced Armor and Rejuvenate, or Rejuvenation, I'm not exactly sure what's the name of the spell. Still haven't memorized all of the spells, and being split between 2 characters doesn't really help all that much. But when you're on the run, it's kind of like Force Armor and Rejuvenate, which is the heal over time. Those really help when you have to be on the move and whatever. You just be on the move, select whatever you want to heal, get your Force Armor and get your Rejuvenate going, and you should be just fine. As you can see there, we've taken out the 2 little puppies and now just the boss left. And since I still have a whole bunch of force, I'm going to go ahead, pop a couple of dots on the boss and still throw a couple of boulders on his face. And he's going to be going down here pretty shortly. So yeah, first boss, not really that challenging. And we move on. We're going to be taking out a couple of turrets now. In this particular instance, I haven't really been focusing a lot on CC because there's like 3 people that can CC. So we got, I'm not sure if Shadow CC works that well, but I mean, we got the tank who can probably do CC. I'm not exactly sure. Can tanks do CC for the full duration like Sages? I'm not sure. But even if they can't, we still have the Commando there who has his, he has some form of CC. I know that he does. So you have the Commando and possibly the 2 Shadows that are in the party. Wait a second, 2 Shadows? No, in this party there aren't 2 Shadows. That was actually in Academimu. Oh, I'm even confusing myself. But yeah, you got the Shadow Tank over there. You still have the Commando Trooper, both of which can CC, I believe. So if they needed CC, they would have asked for it. And here you have the section where you can actually use slice an elevator and go ahead and use it as a shortcut. So this is where slicing becomes really useful inside the instance, as our tank gets shot down from the platform. Although we're in luck because since I overleveled the content, it's okay for me to take a couple of shots from these guys. But very nice play there on Bluto the Backstabber. Bluto the Backstabber on dropping a couple of mortar volley on those droids, knocking them down so that I don't have to take that much damage. And I just switch the healing on him and we proceed without any major difficulties. This is a really simple instance, although it's very nice because I always like instances where you're inside spaceships and whatnot. It gives you kind of that Star Wars feel, and that is kind of the reason why anyone even plays SWTOR. Let's be honest, I mean, would you play SWTOR if it wasn't for that Star Wars-y feel? Come on, it's amazing. The history in this instance, I believe that it's a group of Mandalorian raiders who took possession of a Republic ship. I do believe it's a Republic ship. Called the Ulysses, and you're sent in to basically take it back. Now here is one of what was considered one of the harder bosses. Now I believe that it's actually quite simple, but I still ask them to use the old strategy on this boss, which is basically these are 4 guys all going to be going around your party making a whole bunch of damage, and right now you can't see them. At the launch of the game, you could not CC them, and I actually just told him to use a technique which does not involve CC, simply because if you can do it without CC, then there's no need to use CC, because, in my opinion, it was designed to be made without CC. It's just a matter of coordinating your players, and the only thing they really need to coordinate is do not single target nuke. Just don't single target nuke, just AoE everything, just spread your damage around the whole party of the 4 bosses, because it's actually easier for the healers, and I'm talking from a healer standpoint, it's actually easier for me to heal the damage of these 4 guys without the buff they get once one of them dies, than it is actually of, like, let's say 2 of them with the buff of having 2 deaths. Now you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? Buff, deaths, and blah. Basically, this party of 4 mini-bosses over here, what happens is when one of them dies, all of the other ones get an enrage buff, and basically they increase their damage dramatically. And it is actually quite a problem if you start like targeting them one by one, or at least it was before they patched it. And I've seen a couple of wipes in here simply because people were going after just one target. So if you just AoE the crap out of everything, it's actually easier for the healer to keep everyone alive. So that's kind of what I advised at the start of the boss. I just told everyone, just attack everything at the same time. And as the healer, obviously, if you can spread some dots around, you go ahead and you spread your dots. If you can channel a little bit of telekinetic throw, that helps as well. Whatever little bit of damage you can actually help with always helps. As you can see here, I'm now switching full out damage before they actually, you know, become a threat, as we take everyone out at the same time. And as you can see, not really that hard to heal. Granted, I do overlevel the instance by a little bit, but not that much. So yeah, that boss is actually pretty simple if you just don't focus them one at a time. Just nuke them down all at the same time and try to finish them off all at more or less the same time. So because that is ridiculously less pressure on the healers than all of the other strategies. And ooh, kick to the face there. I love using that kick animation. And here we have a little bit of a dialogue going here, and what's going to happen in this section. So we find these Mandalorian engineers who are obviously not really a threat to us, and you have 2 options. You can either capture them and lock them inside that room, or you can open up the airlock. Now, me being a Jedi, I'm all up for the peace and all that kind of stuff, so I'm like, okay, let's capture the engineers, keep them in there. My friends, however, not so nice, and they're gonna be like, we're gonna pop the airlock open. No! It's still a lot of fun watching them like, out the airlock they go. That's one problem solved. Now I actually believe there's a way to access that room if you capture them instead of kill them. So that's something I'm gonna have to try in a future playthrough, but I'm almost sure that you can actually access that, because I've seen a door that looks like you can interact with it, and it leads into that room, but once the airlock is open, I've never been able to enter there, so eventually I'll have to come back here and try to open that door. Or maybe that door is just for hard modes, who knows, because all of these instances have hard modes at level 50, which I plan on doing guides for. So yeah. As you can see, clearing up a couple of more trash in here and still admiring the scenery of this awesome Flashpoint. I keep calling it an instance. I mean, it's just old habits die hard, right? It's almost like, yeah, it's a World of Warcraft instance or whatever. No, it's obviously it's a SWTOR Flashpoint, but I mean, it's just old habits die hard. I'm sorry. You guys know how long I've played World of Warcraft, so whatever. Don't judge me. Thank you very much. Killing a couple of more Mandalorians here. Not a huge challenge. Basically, if you guys, as a Jedi Sage, if you guys just watch the healer guide I did on TGN Central, I believe that you guys can just breeze through any content that you want all the way at least until level 40 or something, because I think that my next really game-changing heals might come at level 40. I don't know. I'm currently level 32 on my Sage. I'm level 44 on my Scoundrel, and I still have not created my Sith Assassin. But yeah. Definitely been having a lot of fun with the game. It's, I mean, the thing is, for those of you who do not know, Star Wars is actually how I initially developed my strong aptitude for speaking English, because, as some of you might know or not, I'm actually Portuguese, and Star Wars is, when I was a kid, I watched Star Wars over 200 times and decorated all the lines and read the subtitles and whatnot, and kind of figured out how the English language worked, which then made it a lot easier for me to learn the English language on more traditional ways. But now going forward here, we're moving on to the last boss of the instance, which is called Maverick's Virad. And the strategy for this boss is actually quite basic. You just take out the turrets. Now, if you happen to have a smuggler with you, I'm not sure if it's just the smuggler or the scoundrel, you can actually disable turrets, which is what I actually did when I came here with my smuggler, because it was only 3 of us. It was me, Side Strafe, and another guy called Anakin. And when we got to this boss, the turrets were actually making a lot more damage than we could heal, because we were lower levels than I currently am on my Sage. So I ended up crowd controlling a lot of these turrets with my Slice Droid ability, which is a viable strategy. I'm not sure if other conventional means of CCing work, but usually what you want to do is you want to make sure that all of the party is focusing down one turret, and you take out all the turrets as the boss pops them, and once all the turrets are down, you can then focus on the boss. Healing this fight is not particularly difficult, because your party tends to move along with you to take out the turrets as you are moving, so just make sure that you move along with the party. And yeah, you might see there that my energy is going quite low. That's actually because I'm using the Noble Sacrifice skill, because I can see that I'm not being targeted by any of the turrets, and since I'm not really being targeted, there really is no issue in using Noble Sacrifice at will, because I'm not really taking that much damage. However, our little gunslinger chick over there seems to be really excited nuking the boss instead of nuking those turrets, but the boss goes down, and yeah, during this whole instance, all I saw was Scoundrel loot. When I came here with my Scoundrel, none of it. See you guys in the next one.